Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Hannah Burr. Hello, Hannah. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I am doing good. You doing okay?
I'm doing fine. Doing fine. Sleep. What is sleep?
I know. Yeah, I don't get much of it myself either, but here we are doing our episode for Inside the Force, where we're going to be talking about the next episode of The Bad Batch, episode 5, The Return. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about a couple of news pieces that have dropped this week. It's not huge news, but you know, it is stuff that is Star Wars related. So, but of course, thanks as always to our patrons and all your support. Working on the episode 2 commentary. We're going to get that out here sometime next week. So Darth S&M was able to, hang out with us on that, which was fantastic. Martin keeps asking me to be on this thing, so we may have him on the next commentary, which is episode 3.
That's amazing.
Later this month. So if all the schedules work out, we'll do that. And I think, Hannah, I might try to. I think we might try to do your idea of maybe doing a morning.
Yes.
So we get Thrawn on this thing, since he'll be awake. But I don't know what his days are like. But but that'll give pretty much everybody the opportunity to join us.
Yes.
That's on Patreon. So
I was about to say it opens the door for a variety of people to join us.
And I have shared on Patreon also a link to my interview with Mark Bernardin. I'm going to be making that live here probably sometime soon. Actually, it's probably live now as you're listening to this. So go check that out. It's our new Masters of the Order episode on our YouTube channel. So go check that out. And I guess we gotta get some more Beyond the Sagas done.
We do. We're a little behind on that.
Yeah, a little behind, but that's all right. I got some other content going on, so it's
okay.
It's all good.
But we'll catch up. We
will catch up. I got kind of this, like, I forgot I kind of got this background now. I got to like fill it with some stuff. There we go. Okay.
I love your Stormtrooper pillow back there.
Oh yeah, my Stormtrooper pillow. Yeah, you can't really see it when I'm, sitting here, but I had to. Oh, I got this at Target just this past weekend. The Ahsoka clone trooper.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat, huh?
And then that goes with my Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. Yeah. There was this sitting there. There was one of these sitting there, and then there was a yes, and then there was a Bo-Katan that Sam got. So,
oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, it was awesome. Okay, let's talk about some news here. Some real quick news. I think this is interesting to talk about because I'm curious about your thoughts and what you do now. But Lucasfilm has released that upcoming soon, very soon. I can't remember the dates, but upcoming very soon, they're releasing the Blu-rays of these Disney Plus series. So like Mandalorian and Andor, they just announced Andor. They did announce Mandalorian before, but now they announced Andor. They announced Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I'm curious, are you even interested in buying those?
I mean, honestly, that makes me think, are they going to take them off the platform?
Oh gosh, that would be
awful, but
that would be awful.
That's where my mind goes to, is why are you creating something that's technically permanent?
Well, I think it's for people that don't have Disney Plus subscriptions.
Oh, I got you. I mean, then yeah, that's awesome. The fact that people who don't have Disney Plus, they get to watch this, great. Would I personally buy it? No, unless I caught wind that Disney Plus was going to purge all of Star Wars content.
Right. Yeah, I can't imagine that they would. That would be pretty extreme.
But the thing that intrigues me is normally on DVDs and Blu-rays, you get behind the scene content.
Yes, and you probably get more because on Disney Plus there is actually some behind the scenes content. Sometimes
You get more than that.
you get more than that. Yeah, you probably do. That's funny because I remember when DVDs started coming out, right? Mm-hmm. That's the thing you got on there, right? Commentaries and making ofs, and you're like, and I remember thinking I watched a ton of those in the late '90s when DVDs started coming out. Like Gladiator came out. I listened to the commentary for that, and of course Episode 1 came out on DVD, and you had the commentary of that. So I remember listening to a lot of those, watching a lot of those, and of course behind the scenes. But I tell you what's funny, and I don't mean to sound, I guess I don't know, too old about this really, but after so many of those, after a while they kind of start sounding the same. You know what I mean? Like, because and honestly, mainly because we work in it.
Yeah.
So I kind of know why they did that, and I know how they did that, and I know what it took to do that. So after a while, it's like I'm just hearing the same stories I know about all the time, right? I get it for fans that aren't used to it. You know what I mean?
It's a curse to either watch a movie with or watch a TV show with a person who majored in media. It is a curse. Like, there is no way around it. As soon as you start taking classes in media, you will never see it the same again.
Mm-hmm.
I got two examples. First example is with my husband. When we first started dating, he really deep dived into media and like did a bunch of YouTube tutorials on it just so he could understand what I was doing. And then he's like, "Thank you so much for this, because now I can't watch a movie the same again." Like it's like the veil has been lifted. It's
That's
like
right.
I took the pill in the Matrix. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can't see it anymore. And then the other thing was, as an adjunct professor, I actually had a student this semester tell me, now that you told me what goes on behind the scenes in news, I can't watch the news the same anymore.
Yeah.
Because I know exactly what's going on and know exactly how it's programmed and know exactly what's being written. And I'm like, you're welcome. Welcome to the media life.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Because, when I started listening to a lot of these when I was in college, late '90s, again, I didn't know anything about behind the camera kind of stuff. I was getting into acting, so I knew how to do that in front of the camera. And I remember there was a couple movies I did, and I remember coming to the set early and staying late because I wanted to see how they set things up and why they put lights here and why they did this here. And it's like, so I learned a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. I was talking to the DPs and to the cam ops and to the ACs and things like that. And I was trying to learn as much. Maybe that'll help me as an actor kind of thing. So, and then as I started buying these DVDs, I'm thinking, I want to hear what these directors are saying. I want to hear what these producers are saying, and it was cool to hear that first. When you don't know, because you're like, oh, that's why they did it like that, and that's why they had to shoot it that way because there was no other choice. And then of course a lot of things come down to budget. A lot of things come down to location, availability. I mean, sometimes you have to change a whole scene because something falls through. So
Yep.
yeah, right. So I love that part of production, where you have to learn to adapt and change on the fly and make decisions like that, because it does show the camaraderie with the crew and the producers, and how well it's just amazing to me how 50, 60, 70 people could come together and create something all on the same page. So, so it's interesting. But again, once you live it, then 20 years or so, it's like, I could like you. I'm cursed by watching something, and I know exactly how they did it. I could figure out how they did it. Blah 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 blah. So
Heck, it's even if not just 20 years, if you're in it for just a year.
yeah, oh,
Like,
sure.
once you drink the Kool-Aid, there's no going back. There really isn't. You
Yeah.
can't. I think I've met only one person, and I can't remember who it was, but there was one person who I went to school with who just naturally knew how to turn that part of the brain off.
Mm-hmm,
And I'm like, what is your secret?
right.
What's your
Yeah.
secret? Because I would love to know how you're able to turn that side of your brain off.
Right. So anyway, this physical media, I can't even remember. I think the last physical media disc, the Blu-ray that I bought, was I think it was Far From Home, Spider-Man Far From Home, because it was the last of the Phase 1 Marvel movies, because I have all the Phase 1 Marvel movies on Blu-ray. But then after that, I just had no need to buy it. I did buy, like, I have all the new Star Wars movies on Blu-ray, like the sequel trilogy, Solo, Rogue One. But then, like, I mean, when the next one comes out, I don't think I'm going to buy it. I just don't have any need. As long as it lives on Disney Plus, then I'm gonna probably stick with that, and then that's it.
Yeah, looking at our collection, I think our latest, and it was a gift, it was a Christmas gift, was La La Land.
La La Land. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the latest Blu-ray we have, or the most recent, I should say. I think so. Probably.
The most
Maybe.
recent. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, because we have none of the new Star Wars sequels as DVDs or Blu-rays. So yeah, I think that's the latest.
Nice. So yeah. So no. Did you say no desire to buy anymore? Or, yeah.
Unless Disney.
I mean, even other movies. It's like I'd rather just buy them on Prime or whatever, and then I always got them.
Agreed, but then there are things like the fact that HBO did a purge. Netflix always does purges. True. That it's like, if it's a movie I really, really love and I catch wind that it's going to come off one of these platforms, then yeah, I'm going to buy it. Because I want to make sure I always
But you're going to buy it digitally, or you're going to buy the physical media of it, though? Because if you buy it digitally, then you always have it.
Right.
They can't purge that.
Well,
unless, like you said, unless you're... Yeah, if you know they're purging it off of HBO, then you can go on Amazon and just buy it.
You can't buy everything on Amazon, I don't think.
Oh yeah, it's pretty much everything out there now.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, then
you can't watch it, like, it's not on Prime all the time, but it's available to buy.
But here's the thing too, is that what if there's this is going to sound so stupid, and it's going to be such a controversy or a conspiracy theory. I understand that, but what if all internet goes down?
Well,
then we lose everything. So why not have a hard copy?
You definitely lose everything at that. Well, it's in the cloud somewhere, so it ever goes back online.
If it goes back online, what if it never goes back online?
Yeah, then that's bad. Then that's definitely.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, full on confession. My sister and I, when we both moved out of my parents' house, we sat through all of our VHS tapes, like, of all the Disney classics. And we're like, you take this one, I take this one. You take do you want this one? You don't want this one? I'll take this one. You take that one. We each have a tub of VHS tapes.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's good.
Just in case. Good. And we don't want to give them up, because that was such a huge part of our childhood.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And you're saying you got the VHSs of some of the old Disney classics?
Oh, yeah.
Because you need to make sure you keep those, because those are probably worth something.
I'm not giving those up.
Yeah, no. Well, there's definitely some of those VHS classics, I think, that are selling.
We have Cinderella. Huge. We have Sleeping Beauty. We have Pocahontas. We have Cinderella. Like, pretty much everything except Black Cauldron. We might have Black Cauldron.
Yeah, well,
I think we have every classic, if not almost every classic Disney animated movie on VHS.
Yeah, because I think I saw. This might have been a couple of years, but I think I saw the physical copy, like the original Star Wars, like sell for a couple $1,000. Like,
I think you know what? I will. I'm not a betting woman, as you know, Dave. I'm not a betting woman, but I would bet money my dad has the VHS tapes because I swear I remember seeing them in his collection.
Yeah. Well, then they're definitely worth something. So
he's not going to sell them either.
Yeah. I'd have a hard time. I'd have a hard time parting ways with them as well. But I mean, at some point, a price is a price. You know, it's like,
what is that price?
Oh, it's pretty high. I'm pretty sure it's pretty high.
100K.
I mean, I wouldn't do it probably like till years later, like when I'm old and retired, maybe. But you know, like what I do have is I have, which I'm sure will be worth at some point. I bought the re-releases, the special editions, the original special editions version, and like I have this like limited editions box set of it, the VHS versions. So
yes,
it's the last VHS the last versions of the movies you can buy on VHS. So it's 1997. So that's like 30. Oh, that's like 25 years, right? 20,
something like that.
27 years now. So
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah. So maybe like 20 more years when, you know, it's the 70th anniversary of A New Hope, that might be worth something. Yeah. Because also, yeah, it is the, so also what it is though, it's the original version. So it's the pre-special edition. Like it's right before the special editions. Yeah. So it's the last theatrical versions of them. And it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. So.
It is. Those were the versions I watched, actually. I didn't watch the special edition when I was first introduced to Star Wars. Yeah, I watched the OG. That's why I'm also saying I believe he has the original VHS.
Yes,
because I saw those, and then later I saw the special editions on like someone else's TV. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah,
that wasn't there. What's that doing? That, like, you know, all the editions. And then I don't remember that scene between Han Solo and Jabba the Hutt. What is this?
Yeah, right. That's true. So anyway, physical copies of the stuff coming out. Be interested to know how many people are actually going to buy those and watch those, because that most, I mean, I would think a huge percentage of Star Wars fans have Disney Plus, so they've watched all of these series already. But then there could be some that haven't, and you know, they've been waiting. I don't know, so or they've borrowed their friends' login to watch, and then now they don't have access to it, so they would buy it.
That's true.
But the problem is that which is crazy to think though, but Blu-ray sales have drastically declined. Like there's no stores really that buy them. You have to buy them online now. You can't go to. I was just at Target, like I said, buying that figure. I mean, their rack of Blu-rays down to one small aisle rack.
When it comes to Blu-rays,
like end cap.
Yeah. When Blu-rays first came out, I said this will never succeed. Because
it did for a while. I mean,
it did, but I was like, this is never going to last. Me as a kid was like, this will never last. Because what is the difference between a Blu-ray and a DVD? Literally nothing, except you have an upgraded player. The only thing... And I remember
the quality of the picture is pretty huge.
Maybe, but what average home viewer is gonna tell the difference? Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm. Well, it depends on your television.
Yeah, that's true. But I remember looking at my dad and saying the only next level up is if this is digital, if it's on our computers, if we can access it at any time. And sure enough, boom, Netflix happened, and the rest is history. But I remember thinking Blu-ray's not going to last. There's no point. $30 for a movie or $20, I'm going to buy the $20 movie.
Yeah, true.
Same movie, just.
But what got killed also is because they started releasing 4K Blu-rays right when digital started happening. So that's when it started declining. So that was the big miss in a sense, 4K never really got anywhere because you can buy 4K movies online. Hell, HBO now, when you watch a movie, it's 4K. Disney Plus is 4K. So,
and depending on what TV you watch it on, it looks weird. Like, it looks unnatural. I don't know. Like, my in-laws, I remember they were like, "Oh, this is 4K. You guys are gonna love this," and they threw it in, and I'm like, "That looks weird."
really?
Oh, I can't describe.
It had to have been maybe their frame rate was off.
Well,
or
that's
something.
like that's why I'm saying it was the TV. It wasn't the actual movie itself. It was the actual
TV has these TVs come out with this. They call it like Cinemotion or something
like that,
and it's horrible. I turn it off all the time. Yeah, it's horrible.
Like,
horrible.
I even was like I was trying to get a little motion sick because there were so many Steadicam movies, and I never get motion sick.
Right.
And I was something's off here. Something's off. And so anyway.
Okay, we talked a lot about that, but but I'm very interested. I'm very interested in that what the buying habits are now of consumers. As far, obviously the market has declined because you can't find them hardly. But I'm wondering how. Like, I'm almost wondering that those could be collector's items, and I'm pretty sure they're not manufacturing as many as they used to, So what
you need to do is buy them for your kids.
I might just buy them and throw them in the closet and never open them.
Throw them in the closet or buy them for your kids. Let your kids hide them under their bed, and then when they're in their 30s, they'll be able to.
What is this Blu-ray thing?
I bet I could sell this on eBay for a crap ton of money.
That probably is true. Probably true. All right. That's funny. But I do value my Star Wars Blu-rays. I do.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay. The next thing is on the gaming side. It has been announced that, there's been a lot of announcements of games being in development. There's the Star Wars Eclipse that apparently is still in development. I haven't heard a thing about that. Haven't heard a thing about the KOTOR remake that has been, shifting around. Mm-hmm. They have confirmed, though, that the third Jedi series, Star Wars Jedi series, is still actively being made. But there was a first-person shooter game that they announced. Obviously, Star Wars Outlaws, the open-world game, is coming this year. But there was a first-person shooter game that was rumored to be around The Mandalorian, possibly be The Mandalorian, like a game around The Mandalorian. But anyway, that game apparently has been canceled now.
Oh.
So that is not coming,
Bummer.
Which has been kind of the MO for most of these games, which is unfortunate. Because that is still the one thing that baffles my mind is how we don't have like a ton of Star Wars games just coming out. So that's why I can't wait for this Outlaws game, man. I am pumped to play that Outlaws game. I'm ready to sit down and just get immersed.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. I might have to actually start like doing some live streaming with gaming. I've never done it before, but haven't you done it or something like that?
I haven't done it, but like
Oh, okay.
No, I haven't done live streaming with gaming.
Yeah.
But I have done YouTube videos of me playing games.
Oh. What, they see what you're,
Yep.
It's like a screen share kind of thing or a screen record kind of thing?
Yeah. So the way I actually did it was I, under a very small anonymous YouTube name, live streamed a game.
Oh.
And then I recorded myself on another device. And then I recorded the gameplay on the PS4. And then I edited the two together.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then exported it.
Yeah. Okay. That's all. Yeah, I might do that. I might do something like that. Yeah. Well, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, I think that'd be fun. So that game, unfortunately not coming. So the only game as of right now that we know of is this Outlaws game coming.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. Now, this is cool in a sense. I mean, I don't know if you... I think we both have said we don't really ride this ride anymore, but Star
Uh-oh.
Tours.
Oh, I ride Star Tours. In fact, last time I went on it, there was a whole new, like, Poe Dameron was in it.
Oh yeah, they did. They've done a lot of upgrades. Yes,
But
a
there
lot of
were upgrades
additions.
that I've never seen before. So that was really
Yes.
cool.
Well, they did a bunch when Rise of Skywalker came out, which was the Poe and Rey and
And Lando.
Lando. Yeah, there's different ones there. So there's new ones coming now, starting April 5th. Of course, Walt Disney World, where at Hollywood Studios, Disneyland, and then Disneyland Paris. And they're all based on the Disney Plus series. So there's going to be Andor, Mandalorian with Grogu, and then Ahsoka. So
I know what I'm doing next time I go to Disney.
see now, I that is what's crazy is that Star Tours completely gets me motion sickness.
Really?
Even when I take motion sickness pills, that's how strong it is.
You need to do a scopolamine or whatever it's called.
It
patch.
is so like it, and it's just enough. Like if it was any longer, I'd be probably yakking all over the ride.
Wow.
It is like when I first went and I didn't really take any motion sickness pills. I'd only be able to do it one time, and then I'm like, I had to, So once I started taking motion sickness, but I could probably do it one time pretty easily. But if I try to do it again, it wouldn't work. But I did, and it was so weird because I've ridden it a lot, but I felt like I always got the same ones.
Really?
I've probably only seen like a dozen of them, and it says right here, like there's over 250 storylines in there.
But you have to keep in mind that's like mix and match.
Sure,
Yeah.
totally. But that got to equate to at least 20 or 30 different locations.
Okay. Yeah, I mean I've seen a lot.
Yeah, I've seen a lot, but I definitely haven't seen some of these ones that they're talking about.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, if you're interested, if you watch or ride Star Tours. Starting April 5th, you'll start getting all these new adventures in there.
Did I ever tell you why Star Tours has like a special place in my heart for an unrelated reason?
Maybe. I don't know. Go ahead.
Well, similar question. Have I ever told you why I think I'm one of the reasons why they incorporated the yellow straps on the seatbelt?
Yes, you did that.
So that's why it has a special place in my heart.
Okay. Yes, sure. That's right. Yeah. Well, and it did for a long time for me because when we took our first trip to Disney in 2015, that was the only thing Star Wars that was there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I remember going like, oh my God, look at this AT-AT sitting outside and, going in and seeing R2 and 3PO there. And, and of course the ride, it was pretty incredible,
and Rex.
And I remember the first time we rode it, my daughter Sam was only 5, and she was the spy. You know how they put up a spy on the screen?
Wait, they started doing that in 2015?
No, I'm just saying they were doing it, but I mean she on our first time riding it, she was the spy on the screen, so she's like all excited about it, and how how Vader goes, we were looking for this spy, and they show a picture of someone in the ride. And she was the one on the ride that they showed the picture of. So she was really pumped about that.
Oh.
And she loved it. And we rode it several times. And that's when I was like, God, man, after a while, this is getting to me. I had to close my eyes sometimes when they were like, because it goes really fast. I mean, when you come out of hyperspace and you're going down to the planet, I mean, it is fast.
I'm pretty sure the machine goes like that. And then
correct. Yes. Yeah, it's a pretty bumpy machine. Like it moves a lot.
It does.
It's not one of them things where you're just sitting and watching the screen and you're just feeling the screen. It's moving a lot.
It is.
So that gets me bad. And but I loved the atmosphere, and then walking out of it, you got all the that was the only time they had a big real Star Wars shop,
Yeah.
Because I remember in 2015 when I went, that's when they had a big sign that said, the launch bay coming soon, because that was the first thing that came.
Gotcha.
And so that opened in 2016 when we went back. And then that had, I don't know if you ever went, did you ever went at that time? But that was when they actually had Jawas walking around.
Oh, yep.
And you can trade with them. You can trade cards. And my kids we were so mad when they took the Jawas away. Like there were actual Jawas walking around in that little cantina area.
Oh yeah, there were Jawas walking around. I also remember when they had the sand people walking around too.
Oh, I don't think I saw.
Maybe that was only during Star Wars weekends, but I do remember the Jawas, right. And the Jawas that was such a cool thing.
It was so cool, and they had it in Hollywood there, the main center. They had a big Star Wars stage, and they had a show every 2 hours. They had this big show, and I mean that was all they had. They had all that stuff before Galaxy's Edge came, and then obviously they kind of got rid of all that when Galaxy's Edge came in. But because Launch Bay's still there, but it's like it just has characters in it now. It's got Chewbacca and Vader, sometimes Kylo Ren, and BB-8. But yeah, it's nothing like it was.
Yeah. Oh well.
So anyway, Star Tours upgrades there if you want to go see that starting April 5th. And then, of course, in the release world coming next week, actually, you're getting another High Republic novel called Defy the Storm. The Living Force is coming April 9th. Temptation of the Force, June 11th. The Glass Abyss, August 6th. Tears of the Nameless, September 3rd. And then comics this past week, Star Wars 44, High Republic number 4. Next week, Darth Vader 44, Mace Windu number 2, who Mark Bernardin is writing for, Mace Windu. High Republic number 5 and Thrawn Alliances on March 20th. New comic Jango Fett number 1 also on March 20th, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi number 6 on March 27th. So there's your comics that are coming out this month. Again, we've got episode 2 commentary coming here probably next week, and then we're going to be recording our episode 3 commentary at some point at the end of March, early April. We'll see. And so be on the lookout for that as well. Okay, let's get into the Bad Batch. Last week, we talked about the first 4 episodes and feel like this thing is off to a pretty good start so far. And now we have episode 5, The Return. Now, at the end of last episode, we were left with this, uneasy scene of Crosshair seeing Hunter and Wrecker for the first time in a long time and vice versa. Now, I was pretty dead set that was how this episode was going to pick up right there, but they actually do a little bit of a time jump, and we're kind of back on Pabu, and they still haven't really talked it out yet. So what were your thoughts now of this episode, The Return?
I really like this episode. This episode kind of wrecked me at multiple different points. I think The Return is very telling. They not only return to Pabu, but Crosshair returns to his point, to his road to Damascus, so to speak.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's when he's also officially welcomed in. I mean, when Wrecker gave Crosshair his armor,
yeah,
I just about lost it. I was like, it was so sweet. But I think the title of the episode is very fitting of what happens. I think the story so far this season is just solid. It's so good. We see so much character growth, and I didn't connect the dots until Omega said, "I'm older than you, little brother," because he's like, "You're just a kid." She's like, "I'm older than you," and I was like, right. "Oh my gosh, Omega's the oldest sibling here."
True.
And she's acting like it because she's like, you have to talk to him. You can't just like, you got to talk to him. Like, I'm like, that's such an older sibling thing, or the eldest sibling thing to do.
You're right. That's true. That's true. Yep.
And then I wonder if they got some inspiration from Dune. I just saw Dune Part 2 over the weekend, I'm just going to say.
Okay.
I wonder if they got some inspiration from Dune, but that's not a knock. That's just a question. I actually genuinely thought we were going to lose Crosshair or Hunter in this episode.
Oh, really?
But because my expectation is they're all going to die except for Omega. Like, that's my expectation. So I was like, oh no, please don't let too soon. No. Like, so that tension had me going.
Right.
Anyway, those are my, sorry, I'm tired. So that's like my jumbled thoughts of the episode. There's no tangent. There's no story. There's no connection. That's just bleh, what it is. What about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm really liking this season a lot. I think, I don't feel like, even though we're getting action that involves, an underground worm and surviving that, and last season them escaping the prison, or not escaping the prison, but kind of surviving on that planet, escaping fully. There's some action, but it's not necessarily, in my opinion, because it's not necessarily death-defying action. Because I don't anticipate, kind of like you. Well, maybe a little bit different than you. I'm not anticipating anything happening to these guys till maybe towards the end of the season, right? So I think they're pretty safe. Now, again, I say that, but then we lost Tech, like, not the finale, it was before the finale. So. Last season, so I'm anticipating we could lose somebody soon, but not this early. I think there's still this, like you said, there's still a building going on with these characters, and there's a rebuilding with this group that's going on. And I did, I love this episode, but I still feel like there could have been just a little bit more as far as their discussions. I felt like there was a lot of silence in this as well still. And I wanted, especially at the end when they started actually talking it out, I just felt like, I don't know, I look at it like almost like a director, and I would have gotten just a little bit more out of each of them. And that's all. What I did really like a lot was, I loved the scene where he was picking up the helmets and putting them on the crates. And Hunter saw that and then didn't say anything. Like, I thought that was pretty brilliant. Things like that, I feel like are hit a lot harder. Mm-hmm. But if you are going to speak a little bit, then I feel like you need to get a little bit more direct and a little bit more out of it. So I would have liked to see a little bit more out of that scene, but
see, I have the opposite opinion. I like the silence. I think silence speaks volumes. And I think it for me.
But there was silence all throughout the thing, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fine.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. But that part is fine. But at the end, when you finally say something, there was just a couple lines, and I think you can tell that they wanted to say more, and he especially, I think Crosshair had a lot to say, and I just think that there was a moment there, a chance there, to even get a little bit more out of each of the, like, again, I know it's animation, but I think as a director, I would have gotten a little bit more out of, even if it was just another line or just another look. I just feel like there could have been a little bit more connection there that gave us a little bit more of where this thing is going to go, because obviously, they're probably going to get together. They're not to get together, but stay together, and everything's going to work out. You kind of feel that Wrecker's already fully has forgiven him. And he even said, if Omega trusts him, I trust him. Hunter's definitely still on the fence. Even after this, I feel like he's still on the fence. Echo, I don't think he even he's not really hanging with them that much anymore, so I'm not sure he even cares. But Hunter's the one he's the one he's got to convince, and I'm not sure as of right now, there's a lot more he has to do.
I agree with that, but I don't agree with the conversation. I mean, because they're not, if you take a look at both of them, they're not emotional beings. They're not gonna be like, oh, I feel blah blah blah. Like they're just not gonna be like that. So I was actually okay with the length that we got. Because I'm like, yeah, that's natural. It's, you guys had a heated moment earlier. You both took some jabs at each other verbally. You had a near death experience, so you had a moment to process what the other person said. You know what? We don't need to have that conversation again. We might not be good, but we're good on this level. Like, I get you. A near death experience has given me a different perspective on life. We don't have to go there. We're good. So that's how I took it. Because there are some people who are like that. And sometimes with guys, that's what they're like. They don't want to have an emotional conversation. It's just like, hey, man, about back there, forget it. It's fine. Like, we're good. We're good. So I understand what you're saying. Personally, for me, I was okay with the way it was.
Yeah.
And to me, it also makes you go, oh, well, they have something else to say later on. But I totally understand what you're saying, and I completely understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying, personally, for me, it was good. Like, there didn't need to be another beat.
Yeah, it's just, it's just clear, at least the way I think they shot this thing. You can just completely tell that it is weighing heavily. No matter how much he speaks or doesn't speak, it's been heavily weighing on Crosshair.
Oh, absolutely.
And, he's been getting nagged this whole episode about talking to Hunter. And, it's just, there was a chance to say just a little bit more. I think it would have made the scene a lot better because, like, I'm watching it now a little bit now. I mean, basically Hunter turns around, says one thing, and then just he's off. And Crosshair had a chance to kind of keep the conversation going just a tad bit longer, and I think it just would have made it a little bit more powerful. And I think him seeing, and then he looks up and sees the whatever creature that is kind of flying around, which is very Ahsoka reminiscent. Mm-hmm. So I think he's got this in his head that, obviously he's getting it from Hunter that, there's a chance that this could work out with them again, but there's more he has to do, and I think
I'd agree with that.
But I definitely think he's got, which I questioned for a long time. I think he definitely has remorse for what happened, because for the longest time he was pretty cold-blooded about it, that you guys are wrong. What I'm doing is right. But after his experiences, it's like, and I don't even know if he still, I don't know if he still thinks what they're doing is necessarily right. Mm-hmm. But what the Empire obviously is doing is wrong.
Right.
So that's interesting to me too.
Yeah, a lot of interesting things. It'll be interesting to see. I do think you're right. I do think the big final battle is them freeing the clones from that facility. I do think at this point it's pretty clear that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens next, I guess.
Yeah, I do question a little bit about when that would happen, because because if you look at the schedule, which I had it up, there's a couple times when there's 2 episodes blocks that are released, and part of me feels like, because we're on episode 5 now, there's 15 episodes in this season. I can't imagine them going 8 or 9 more episodes just looking for Tantus. That would be kind of dragging it out a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like one of these double episodes could be actually like the return. And,
oh, yeah.
Right? I think it could come sooner than we think.
Mm-hmm. So maybe that's the first battle, and then that reveals something else, so that makes them go in for a bigger battle.
Actually, next week is 2 episodes.
Oh, well, there you go.
So now that's a little too soon I think, but maybe they figure it out and they go. But next week you're getting episodes 6 and 7, and then you get episode 8, and then the next week episode 9. And then the next week after that, April 3rd, you get 2 episodes, 10 and 11. And then it's 4 straight episodes each week until the finale. So next week seems like that's a pretty interesting time to drop 2 episodes.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what those episodes are about.
Yeah, I mean,
man, that does seem a little too soon, but
yeah, because it's kind of left open at the end of this episode, obviously, like where they're going.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we don't have anything. I mean, they opened that data pad basically and just got like manifests. They didn't really get schematics and entry points, like stuff like they were talking about. So they've got to go find another way of getting some info, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do there. So
that is certainly true.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah. So next week, 2 episodes. Hopefully you can find some time to watch them, because I know you got a big week next week.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
I think I'll be able to have time.
Yeah.
I do. But we'll see.
Just start watching on your lunch break or something. Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Okay, let us know what y'all think about episode 5, The Return. Like I said, next week we'll be talking about 6 and 7, which is exciting.
Yes.
And I'm a little bummed that these things are coming out in the middle of the night. But I am watching, me and my daughter are watching them first thing in the morning, so that's fine.
That's sweet.
But next week we won't be able to, because she didn't have time to watch 2 episodes before going to school. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to see what she wants to do there. But
oh yes.
Oh yeah. So anyway, thanks for everybody coming and joining and listening and watching. Of course, check out the Mandalore podcast, where me and Martin Donison are going deep dives into these episodes. Longer episodes. Mm-hmm. And go check that out, the Mandalore podcast, and go to our YouTube channel, catch all new series there. We got a new Masters of the Order, like I said, with Mark Bernardin. Check that out. We got episode 2 commentary coming out very soon. You can go watch the episode 1 commentary of from me and Hannah if you haven't yet, and all new fan trailers that are being put together for those releases. So, all right. Anna, thanks for joining me, as always.
Thank you, as always.
Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. May the Force be with you.